going to speak to her.
I guess we should be flattered that someone sent those things after us. But I would have preferred a card.
She wipes a slick of gore from her neck, sniffs at her blood-streaked hand and shrugs.
I'd heard rumors of the eyeless, but I always thought that name was a metaphor. Though I would have called them Mace Hands of Doom, if anyone had asked me. So this is the mysterious army you've been dreaming about, huh? It's a wonder you're getting any sleep.
That's why we're going to the Abbey, to stop them.
I'm regretting all of my decision-making up to this point. Still, I guess a suicidal plan is better than none.
Something on your mind?
Well, knowing that I'm finally close to getting rid of this memory, it feels like it's crowding my head that much more.
Paces and locks her fingers into her hair.
It's been with me for decades. Driven me halfway across the known world.
Perhaps you need to get that off your shoulder.
You're right.
Listen.
It was a war. Centuries ago, before Aediran unification. I was a soldier then. Led a campaign across the northern forests to subdue some of the outlying Culkland villages. Brutal work.
I don't understand. What war?
This was 500 years ago, when Adir was a folk kingdom on one side and elven country on the other. They fought on and off before they joined. Now the folk and elven rulers marry to keep the peace. Right, the campaign. Lost a third of my forces to the forest, and another third to the elven scouts hiding in it. By the time we reached the first village, we'd crushed their defenses, and they'd bled us.
Shakes her head.
Wasn't much more than children and the elderly left. But they spit on us when we marched into town.
Girl twists her face. Her eyes are cold.
The village elders surrendered and offered us lodging in the old meeting hall. And when the sun set, they tried to burn it down around us.
She closes her eyes.
They barely got a flame going, but that wasn't the point.
What was it?
In their defiance, I saw months more of pointless, bloody battle as we fought for the rest of the region. I had to break them. And I had to send a message to the rest of the villages.
Her hands shake as she raises them to cover her face.
So I nailed every last one of them to the trees around the town and left them there to die.
What happened then?
I never remembered more. Eventually, Adir and Culkland united. The gentlefolk forgave each other for what they'd done to each other's people.
Killed those villagers to prevent more fighting?
That's what I kept telling the troops.
She's quiet for a long time before she speaks again.
But if I'm honest, I was angry. I wanted to see pain. And I wanted to be the one holding a blade.
You've been a mercenary and a pirate in his life. Is that really so different?
I've done my share of fighting these 40-odd years. But I've never drawn my blade just to watch someone bleed. And I've never drawn it on someone who didn't have his own in hand. Don't I know it?
She wipes at her face, a heel of her hand.
Anyway, we should get going.
She shoulders her pack, and you catch a glimpse of something unusual in it. A thick roll of cloth bound by leather. What's that?
Something I've been saving for better days.
And I know what it is already. A few town guards stand around a sprawled corpse. One of them turns as you approach and giving you a nod. You've got an uncanny sense of timing, Lord. This one's been after you all day. That sounds familiar. Eora slowly turns his head to regard you. Excuse me. The woman was going about town asking about your whereabouts, not in a polite sort of way either. She got nervous in a hurry when we happened by. Nearly took Royal's head right off. I've never seen her before. Sorry for the trouble. No trouble, but a good scare and ruling, that is. One gesture at the corpse. I suggest having a look at what she was carrying. See if you recognise anything. A woman's cooling corpse lies half buried in the snow. Reach out. You plunge into cold darkness, scattering images sliding past before you grasp more than an echo, and then light. Sunlight filters down through the gaps in the canopy, illuminating short stretches of the bog, mud and knee-deep water foul each step. Your legs are already tired and you've barely started. You must resign yourself to discomfort. You've come to the river soon enough. Follow it as it bends north. And it is a mantra in your thoughts. Reach stalwart, find the watcher, follow him, retrieve the phylactery. Consort's killers will not fall easily, but if you act carefully, that task will not fall to you alone. Your master will deal with this watcher. It is only a matter of time. The memory slips away, returning you to the familiar sight of Stalwart's village, perhaps stirred into flight by your perusal. Soul essence begins to dissipate, fading from your sight. The memory of the dead woman's journey lingers with you, however, to the southwest, beyond the White Arch. There lies a bog, and an enemy awaits you there. Damn him that. She turns towards you and promptly jumps in surprise. Blazes, where'd you come from? Haven't seen any soul on the road for a day at least. Dad? Well, a helpful spirit right out of the fables. I appreciate it, but I'll manage. All I need is for Benna to come stomping right on back. We're late enough as it is. Last thing I needed is damn tantrums. What happened? What didn't happen? He's a spiteful crab most days, but out here he's been downright intolerable. He got a real sore face when a cart tipped over, decided to storm off in a huff. Now I'm stuck here waiting for him. Word of advice, if you ever find yourself in trading business, keep it in the family. Tried to find them. I appreciate it. Bring that stubborn goat back, and I'll set aside some coin for you. Any idea where he went? To the south. I hope he's alright. There's no place to go wandering. No, it's not.
Hey, you! I need help!
You certainly do. The man is half obscured by a riot of lights and signals emerging from the mud around him. He brings up an arm and shields his eyes, peering out at you. Are you one of them? You don't look like some mad Borg cultist. Are you trapped? Are you Reno? What? Yeah, that's me. What? Herla sent you? Ha! I knew she couldn't be entirely useless. Look, help me out. I've been stuck here for ages. This thing's some kind of wall. I've got to be some kind of spell, right? I don't know the first thing about magic. Let me ask you something first. What do you want to know? I'm stuck. Captive audience for your questions, I guess. Do you feel any strange effects? No, well, there's whispering, I guess. I thought I was just more of those wizard types. I'll look around. Thank you for this. You won't regret it. No, not.
Keeping quiet.
The sinking walls are coated in grime and vegetation. Age and muck have pried the stones apart. Thick vines are coiled all about the lower sections of the wall, bristling with thorns. But there is a section just here where the vines are less dense. Hack away some vines. The worker dislodging the worst of the vines from the upper wall, while it contributes somewhat to the prickly carpet of vegetation waiting for you at the bottom. The path is much clearer. Make your way down without incident. You find yourself before a large rounded chamber flooded with water.
Sure.
Oh, and if I find something good, you can have half.
Ready, Watcher. Let's get a good shot with this.
Let's try that again.
That's not.
Really, everyone's terrified. Hilarious.
Huh?
You didn't see that.
No, I didn't. Oh, let's speed this up. He died. right beside each other.
Mm-hmm.
Squeeze through the gap. I don't think there's anything else here, so.
Yeah.
Angry letter. I appreciate that you're attempting to assist me, but when I asked for volunteers, I meant just that. I have no interest in raising corpses, and these sorry victims of yours are no use to me. I have taken precautions to prevent us finding ourselves high-deep in ghouls. While you clean up the midden heap you have made of your ritual circle, perhaps you can take the time to familiarize yourself with the simple concept that a dead man makes a pure source of a soul essence.
I wonder what this is.
This weathered piece of parchment holds a series of nearly illegible notes of what appears to be some kind of diagram. A series of symbol lines, the delivery of a cruelty drawn circle on a particular set of 5 symbols had been repeatedly circled. Okay. Back. Get me out of here. At the edge of the ritual circle, scratched into the mud, you notice 5 familiar characters, just like the ones in the note you found. Without knowing what to look for, there'd be no more than furrows in the dirt. Examine the symbols. You crouch down, but you can't see anything entirely interesting about the scratches. What did you find? Something? Past the barrier, Benna watches you with rasped interest. A flicker of movement catches your attention. You look up to see that you've been gained an audience. In the dim light, the spirit is nearly invisible, a shimmer of essence that can barely pick out against the bog. You begin to see some shapes coalescing in the fog. The first raises its hands. Wait, please. Who are you? What? I thought we went over that. You feeling alright? Hordman called us here, but his spirit slips our grasp. We would continue our work if you let us. It is all the purpose that remains to us. The betterment of the self, the craft of virtue. This man Benno has poked through with jealousy, with petty lust. He thieves from his partner. He abandoned his children. Oh, great! But his essence holds the same brilliant potential of any man. And while your soul watcher is a bright and fierce thing, his is fragmented, weak. Let us mend it, shape it. How would you do that? As one might carve the rock from an apple, it is painless, freeing. He would feel himself unburdened. What do you want from me then? Give us the time to work upon him. Then we shall release him, and you may do with him as you please. Sure. The spell. You see the spell barrier ripple, and Benno looks up in excited anticipation. But you sense too a sudden cold weight in the air. The gathered spirits shine all the brighter, as if strengthened by your permission. They move towards Benno, and you lose sight of him beneath the whirling lights. The betterment of man. It's strange. I'd never felt better. I'm not sure what I was worried about. I'm going to see if Herla's alright. I'll meet you by the wagon. Hey, thanks for getting Benno back. He's been telling me how much of a help you were. I owe him my life. He deserves the credit. Yeah, never seen him say a kind word about anyone. Guess you made an impression. You've been a huge help here. It's from my personal stock. Figure you deserve it. What have you got?
Ready, Watcher.
We're all stunned. 'Cause why not? I threw my boss back on it.
Lava will be on seek.
I'm here.
I bring your end.
A wall of thick vines rises from the mud of the bog. They grow in unnatural twinding cords, bristling with thorns. Though there are gaps between the vines, manoeuvring through will take some care. Time. As you approach the vines, they shudder and pull away from you, forming a clear path through which you cross. You pass safely only to hear rustling behind you as the vines bars passage, curling into a tight knot of thorns and vegetation. You notice moving up ahead. A robed figure rushes forward, stumbling through the muck as he blows a single piercing tone of a single horn. The sound carries through the bog, echoing off the cloistered trees and ruins. Beneath it, you hear an ominous rumble, and the murky water to the north begins to bubble and pitch. A slicky, scaly snout crests the water surface. It is the only warning you receive before a massive beast rises from the bog in a shower of mud and bog water. The dragon shakes vegetation from its horns, then lowers its head to see a keen eye upon you. Hold your ground. The dragon watches you distinctively. It stands still as if waiting. You notice a small dark shape in the distance. You feel a sudden buffeting gust of wind from above. As the shape grows, a winged silhouette descends swiftly upon the clearing. As the second dragon comes to a heavy landing, you take note of a figure atop its back, a woman with swooping horns, garbed in flowing robes. She slides from the dragon's back in one graceful movement.
The Watcher of Cadnua. I expected you'd find us eventually. I'm a little more surprised to find you're still carrying that abomination around. I imagine Consulhalt is better company without his tongue. I am Lengroth.
Lengroth was a man.
As was my predecessor. He too lives on in me. We are all, you see, Lengroth.
Huh.
Lengroth knew something Consulhalt did not. The brevity of life should be embraced, not feared. Each generation brings with it renewed strength and saves us from stagnation. When his time came, Lengroth was willing to let go, to leave his memories and body behind. He entrusted the gift of his life force, his vibrant spirit, to a worthy successor.
And that would be you.
Consulhalt clung to his pathetic existence like a leech. And there are others like him, who would see all the world serve as kindling, if only their flame can go on burning. Consulhalt's knowledge cannot outlive him.
And you're after the phylactery to destroy it?
More than that, to ensure it could never be replicated.
I could do it.
You yourself could easily have become the latest tool in Consulhalt's efforts to thwart the wheel, and place himself beyond the reach of time. He would have used your very essence for fuel. A lesser death than you deserve, I think. But you made it out. In truth, I am glad you came. It saves me the effort of chasing you. It's not as if you'll understand for very long, but as you wish.
Do you possess more than Loverid's title? What about his memories?
His memories, his awareness, those died with him. But his power remains. As a watcher, you must have seen by now that certain spirits possess more strength than others.
I certainly do.
His knowledge we secure in the usual way. It is my hope that we will someday spread Lengroth's teachings beyond our numbers.
Your books are too small to read. Better to learn it in song.
Long.
No singing.
How did you
A
become?
great deal of study and a little magic. Once a suitable candidate has been selected, their predecessor gives up his life and essence, and the soul is transferred. I studied for many years and was selected, but at any step I might have turned away, buried myself in common living. My choice was to stay.
Don't find that unnatural.
Not at all. The energy of souls is a natural force all around us. Every being leaves traces of their passing, even as their essence finds root in new soil. We accept that the cycle exists, and that death will come. It is what we leave behind that matters. A life bettered by our efforts.
Were you and Colesahot always enemies?
No, not at all. Oh, he and the original Lingroth were distantly aware of each other, I'm sure, being masters in their field. I learned of his obsessions too late. Perhaps if we'd been on better terms, I could have convinced him to reconsider. Too late in any case. My apologies, Consulhot.
I'm not the Consulhot.
Why? Because it's quiet, out of the way. The local wildlife keeps out the rabble. I've never minded being out in the open air, but some of the apprentices found it difficult at first. But a bright young mind that can't survive contact with blood and dirt will fare very poorly in this world. A curious mind is a gift. Perhaps your soul will retain that quality.
Hope so. What if I just give you the phylactery? The moment the words pass your lips, you feel a wave of anger exuding from the skull at your side.
We could simply take it from you. After.
I'm trying to keep things civil.
Yes. It feels a little macabre for my tastes, like the Stelgar with a hair.
Believe we have much to teach each other.
I'm listening.
Nobody should.
I'm glad you agree. I've always seen it as common sense. Too many are happy to turn a blind eye, let others destroy what they will. We are not guardians, but some things are too grave to ignore.
Right idea.
He was a wise man. You and he might even have gotten along. Perhaps there is a way. A pact, if you will. If you truly mean to keep the secret of the phylactery to yourself, we can seal the oath with an exchange. A small transfer of soul essence. I would possess a glimpse of your abilities, and you a taste of Lingroth's wisdom.
By soul essence, you mean?
Just that. Nothing untoward, I assure you.
Sure. If it keeps the peace.
Good. Then come closer, and we'll see it done.
Finger's hand draw away from your face. You feel a distant loss. You suspect you've forgotten something, but you can't quite remember what or why you should care. There are other memories in its place, not images or events, but a well of information, gleaned over decades, waiting to be recounted. In that moment of discovery you feel invigorated, powerful.
Are you different?
Galphonicus peers down at you.
He smells different.
Your sophus sniffs the air.
There. It is done.
He appears unchanged, or he, apart from her pleased smile.
I hope much good comes from our alliance. To that end, a parting gift. Go in peace, my friend. May the spirit of Lingroth guide you.
Go. Mental prowess. A dwarf clothed in what seems a few straps of fur puffs up his beard chest with every drag from his pipe. Come a long ways to get some air, have you? What are you doing here? Enjoying the fine weather. Just a bit longer. He smiles, letting a cloud of smoke and frosted breath escape through his teeth. My mistress has business with the Ordrites. Well, we'll be off soon as she's done at the Abbey. Meantime, I was told to stay put. I don't want any outsiders meandering about. He already put some kind of hex on me. Says I won't even remember any of this, but the copper's worth it. She says I'll wake up at home with a full coin purse, opposite most of my mornings, so that had a certain appeal. Tell me about your mistress. Which one? Oh, wish she were the fun kind. She's a gift bearer. Paid me well to guard her on the journey through. Looking to get inside, are you now? He peels the pipe away from his clenched teeth and points its long stem to the path ahead. Far as I know, straight this way. The middle path on the right with the ruined arc that lets you in. Of course, Ordrites are none too friendly, but to their own. My mistress went to the archway, spoke to some guards there, and then headed on. They got eyes on the other paths, cast me dirty looks from afar when they passed this way. And if I stand here in plain view, if I had some grand design of sneaking into their blazing church. And what's an abbey got that's worth hiding anyway? Monks? You know any other way? No. But it's an abbey, not a fortress. You can bet it's got holes, like any fat old monster. Supply passage, escape routes. I'd be lying if I said I never explored one uninvited when I was too young to know better. Helped myself to its relics. Let's just say if a certain war goddess has her way, I'll be living my next life as a dung roll bug. You got that look about you. Looks like you need it. Koweto is waiting for me. I'm a tide bearer. Guard's eyes narrow. How can I be so sure? We are in the final days of Beckworth Tide, a time of transition from our church. My presence is no accident. Forgive my caution. We were told to expect you. The High Abbot awaits you inside.